Good evening. Call the meeting to order. This is a meeting of the Hampden Selectboard and Board of Health being held in the Townhouse Auditorium on December 2nd, 2024. This meeting is being conducted in person and remotely using video conferencing technology. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Is anyone recording the meeting other than ourselves? Kristen and Rivers from the Wilbraham Hampden Times. Thank you. Good evening, Kristen. We have minutes.
There is one set there, yes.
From the October 21st, 2024.
Great meeting. That was a great meeting, Don.
Let's see, we talked about the Thornton Burgess building assessment and the special town meeting that was coming up, electronic voting, and we had selectmen reports on the tree lighting, the scene which...
At that point, they were selectmen reports, correct, Don?
There were selectmen reports at that point.
Yes.
The tree lighting, senior center building committee, planning board, master plan committee reports, and that's it.
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. The next item on our agenda is a tax classification hearing. So I open the hearing pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 40, Section 56. The purpose of this hearing is for the Board of Assessors to provide information to the Select Board regarding the tax rate options available to the town under property tax classification. The Select Board will then decide on a factor to establish the allocation of the tax levy. There will be 4 votes required, which will determine the share of the levy to be borne by each class of property. Please note that the FY 2025 tax rate has not been approved, and this hearing does not determine what the actual tax rate will be. The estimated tax rate being used is subject to change. Final tax rates can change when they are submitted to the Department of Revenue. Assessors.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you? Yes, thank you for having us. I'm here with 2 of my board members tonight, Bob Muffin and Phil Snyder. And as you mentioned, there are 4 required votes tonight for the classification hearing. So the first vote is whether to adopt a minimum residential factor of 1, which would mean that there would be a single tax rate for all classes of property. The other option would be to shift the rate to lessen the amount for the residential class, but it would increase the amount for the commercial, industrial, and personal property class. The second vote tonight will be an open space discount, which the town of Hampden currently has no property classified in open space, which is class 2. The third vote is a residential exemption, which would shift the burden within residential class onto higher priced and non-owner occupied properties. This exemption has been adopted in a few communities that have a large number of vacation homes. And the fourth vote is on a small commercial exemption, which would shift the burden from qualifying small businesses to other commercial and industrial properties. And out of 40 commercial properties, fewer than 10 may qualify for this exemption. So first we'll go to the single versus split tax rate. So again, adopting a minimum residential factor of 1 would result in the single tax rate. We currently have approximately 85% of all of the property in town is residential, while the other 15 is a mixture of commercial, industrial, and personal property. Historically, Hampden has always adopted a single tax rate. I prepared some information for you, showing a history of the levy percentages. So as you can see, we've been right around 15% for several years now for the commercial, industrial, and personal property. Last year went to 14% and then back to 15% this year, but it's stayed pretty steady around that point. I've also provided some information here for you on the value. So the town value has increased this year from $877,611,088, which was the town value for FY24, and it's increased by approximately 100 million. The FY25 town value is $977,539,640.
That's all the property in town?
All of the taxable property in town. Yes.
It's increased by 100 million?
Yes.
Why?
The values are just increasing, they've been rising.
A new growth.
And then, yes, and then out of that, we also had over $30 million in new growth this year.
Okay.
And new growth is like a new house, a new,
New growth would be any new constructions, additions, sheds, any new personal property accounts, new solar arrays. We have one new solar array on Rear Summers Road that hit the books this year, which is over $17 million in new growth. So that was a significant number for us this year.
So, pardon me, Kelly, the increase from 2017 to 2025, 8 years, I mean, you see it going up, oh my gosh, Don, 60-something percent, roughly, from 513 up to 830. Would you say that percentage is reval or most of it's new growth?
I think a mixture, a lot of it is our market adjustments. We're required to be within a specific range by the Department of Revenue standards. So when properties are selling for more, we have to do our analysis. And if we're outside of that range, then adjustments are required in order for our values to be approved. So that's a big part of it, but there was also a significant amount of new growth this year as well.
The personal property jump from one year to the next, I mean, it went up 25%.
And
Is
a lot
that-
of that had to do with the solar array, the new.
So it's a qualify on a personal property?
It does, and so do our public utilities. So for the public utilities, we also had some new growth from those as well. Just to give you an idea, New England Power, we had over 1.8 million in new growth this year. Eversource Gas, almost 1.5 million. The NSTAR Electric, over 211,000, and Mass Electric, over 600,000. So
So the bulk of new growth is utility and energy related?
quite a bit, yes. We did have new constructions. We had quite a few over on Chapin Road, as well as some others, and several lot splits as well. So going to the next page here, so provided some information showing the percentage of the classes, the impact it could have if you were to look at doing a shift in the tax rate instead of having a single tax rate. We use the current estimate that we have, and you can see that I gave options showing if it was a 125% shift or a 150% shift, what the minimum residential factor would be. And then on the next page showing what the tax, how that would affect the tax rate and potentially the tax bills for both the residential class, and also for the commercial, industrial, and personal property values. The average assessed value for a single-family home in Hampden rose from $377,000 to $419,000 this year. A lot to do with the market adjustments.
really?
Yeah,
377 to what?
so $419,000.
What percentage is that?
Oh, I don't have it right here, maybe I can figure it out, but quite a bit, I mean, it was.
It's 23, it's 42, that's 12, 15%. More than that.
13, but it could be, yeah. And then the grouping together the commercial, industrial, and personal property, last year when we looked at the average for all of that, it was 858,000. This year it's 1,020,500. So values have increased quite a bit on both sides.
Who pays the most personal property tax?
Solar.
So if we shifted it, the problem is that most of your solar tax things are under pilots, or several are under pilots.
Several are, correct.
So if we did a shift, we wouldn't be able to, would we be able to recoup that with the pilot agreements?
Well, not with the current pilot agreements, no.
Right.
I mean, unless something else could be renegotiated, but I don't think that could affect those, only those that are not
They're locked
pilots,
in,
yeah.
right, yeah.
Well, we have a couple that we don't have yet.
There are a couple without pilots, and there are a couple that are looking to enter into pilots possibly, or at least like to entertain.
What about National Grid and them? They pay for all, they pay all that?
That's all personal property, yes, so those figures I gave you were just the new growth that they had from this year, but those are all personal property accounts as well.
I remember one of the biggest jumps, besides the substation on Allen Street, was when they changed all the high wire poles a few years back, and that represented a pretty good jump in their value at that point. I'm wondering, and we've never done it before, but if we did that shift, especially towards personal property, you're always worried about who you're affecting. Are we mostly affecting the electric/solar, or are we also affecting people in town?
All of the commercial businesses, so all of the small businesses would be affected as well. And theirs would be pretty significant.
Yeah. And many of those are local people who also live in town.
Yeah, because you would have to shift.
I see that,
You'd
yeah.
have to shift on the commercial, industrial, and personal property. You cannot just solely do it on the personal property.
So the buildings on Commercial Drive are assessed as commercial?
Commercial.
I think the price of ice creams at Snappy's will probably have to go up.
I would really like tax you-know-who. The electric,
Yeah, right.
we can't separate
The
them
extra
out.
pole,
We can't separate them out, we can't separate them out, right?
Yeah.
those leftover poles are worth
The
quite a bit, I
additional
think,
poles,
yeah. Antiques, they're high value.
So, I mean, based off of the estimates, the current estimates, if looking at the maximum shift of 150%, the commercial industrial personal property tax bill could increase by $7,800. So, and, all of the small businesses included.
Home occupations, are they taxed any different than,
Most home occupations are, it's still their home, it's residential, but then they would pay personal property tax on items that are used for the business, unless the property is being used for mixed use. So if they have a store, if they're living there, but they have a store or something like that, then it would be a mixed use and it would be classified both ways. We would look at the square footage that's used for each purpose.
but the person who has an accounting office and meets with a client,
It's still a residential, because that's what the
Primary
main use
use.
of the property is, yes.
I'd say that, Don, you and I have been doing this for several years, I really don't see a need to, at this point, change from our standard course of action. Good thing we don't have that new guy with us, rebel.
I would really like to, we can't.
Yeah, you can, yeah.
All right, go ahead.
So we need 4 motions. So I'd like to make a motion to keep a single factor rate of 1 for the minimum residential factor.
Second.
Pardon me, as recommended by the Board of Assessors.
Any further discussion?
I think we beat it to death.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
As the assessors have said, there is no open space discount. I'll make a motion to not offer the open space discount and make a note that the town currently has no properties classified for that anyhow.
Second. All in favor? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. I make a motion to not use the residential exemption as endorsed by the Board of Assessors.
Second. If it says vacation home, does it count like if you own a vacation home someplace else, can we tax that?
No,
No, okay.
but that shed in the back, you call that your vacation home, your man cave.
It's my still.
It's a tax revenue.
That's federal, it's federal. Where are we, second? Discussion? All in favor? Aye.
So, Mr. Chairperson, select, I'd like to vote not to offer the small commercial exemption as recommended by the Board of Assessors.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you very
See you
much.
next year.
And yes, I did, Warren has the forms that will need to be signed.
Don's got a
I
note.
got it here, we'll sign it, right?
It's just showing that you had voted on one for the minimum residential factor with a single tax rate.
We're
So I
sign-
include that.
Do we all have to sign this?
Yes, if
Yeah.
we'll have you and John both sign it, please.
On this line that says no signatures to display?
Yes, because that's, there's also ways to electronically sign things. But in this case, we always have to do it.
We're not that skilled. We'll get the quill out, we'll do it later, that one, yeah. And you guys are still efforting to come to the tax rate at some point? Okay, great. Where am I
Right,
signing?
you sign over here, right there.
Oh, I see, correct.
I'm gonna
Cross.
take
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
yeah, just to
yeah,
make sure.
1440, they lose it.
That's all you're gonna get, since Craig's not here.
That note, and that's fine, as we have the majority, so that works. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Bye, Phil.
And the brains of the outfit, bye Kelly.
Oh, yeah, Kelly. Okay. Building use policy. Theater Guild, what's up?
I'm Mark Isa, this is Rick Rubin and Little Langlois,
Hey,
and we were just curious why the choice of what had happened there being billed or being for each room now, for the Melville room or for the auditorium, where it's been around for 20 years. And all of a sudden, when I was talking to book with Warren, which is very nice, to book the rooms, we said there was gonna be a charge now for using the rooms.
we decided to come into the 21st century. You know, these buildings, we have to heat and light these buildings and security and that stuff, so we wanted to, and we've had a lot of requests for different uses of the building, so we decided to implement this policy, which is pretty similar to what the senior center policy is.
Okay, then I'll turn the next part over to you.
Yeah, the Theater Guild of Lynn Langlois, along with Rick Rubin, we serve on the board of directors. Mark is our president and directs most of the shows. Theater Guild of Hampden is going to be celebrating our 20th anniversary in 2025 that we're excited about. I serve as the treasurer, so I see the money. And we had some very, very tough years during COVID where with all the restrictions in place, we had plays that had, one that was canceled midway, and with all the rules and regulations, we just could not put on our productions. We tried doing things outside and nobody showed for one of the shows, and we've just struggled financially now since 2020, since COVID. And we're just starting to get back on our feet. We're doing more fundraising. We have 3 shows planned for 2025 for the first time since 2019 that we've trying to put together 3 shows and a big fundraiser and all. But I can tell you right now, we cannot afford $50 a night for rehearsal time. We're not using, other than the space, we're not, making a mess or anything, but, so we don't need like a janitor to come in and clean up behind us. But I can tell you it'll bankrupt us if we have to pay $50 for every time we rehearse for a show. We're not making that much on each show. We're a local nonprofit, and, you know, if we make $2,000 to $3,000 on a show, that's really good for us. If we have to spend half of that amount on just paying for rent for rehearsal time, we'll fold. And we've been a good community
Yes,
organization for Hampden for 20 years.
Well, we always have the select board, I said it right, the select board always have the option to waive a fee. So when you need the building, you ask the board to waive the fee, and I'm sure.
I'll make a comment. I've been, Mark, Rick, and Lynn for quite a while. I've been involved in a couple of shows, and Don, I believe, you have the opportunity to take the lead in the next show, I believe.
I've seen your reviews.
Thanks. Going back in a bit in history, the category 1 is obviously town boards, et cetera. Category 2 was the Boy Scouts and municipal groups like that, which, and I recall discussion, the Theater Guild of Hampden was one of them. There was no intent at that time to charge. It was more to make sure they understood that town boards always got priority. And if the planning board needed the auditorium and you all had it booked, you had to make other plans because the needs of the town elected boards came first. But I don't believe there never was a charge for it. We never charged the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, the Cub Scouts, any of the Scanic riders to come in and use it with permission of the board. This was something we tried to get in order to be consistent with the policy at the senior center as well, where they do charge. But, as Don said, the option for waiving, and it has been waived by the senior center for some of your use there, right?
Yeah, Becky's let us use it.
Right.
We're getting really busy with stuff in the winter, and
Right.
it's not booking.
I think the board's appreciative of what you've done for the town, et cetera, and I can speak for, I would look favorably on a request for a waiver.
It's hard because we don't have our own home. There's a lot of
Every
theaters
theater
out
has
there
their own home.
that have their own space.
Yeah,
Their own small theater, and we don't have that, and we've kind of spent the past few years kind of getting bounced around. And we've been using the Red Barn over at Fountain Park, but there's no bathrooms,
Don, I think,
So there's like an issue with everywhere we look to.
I think, Don, the big purpose would be, I think a waiver with a security deposit would be about the only thing that would be. And I know from personal experience, you have insurance, which they have insurance from Hub already. So I think waiving, but just a security deposit to be returned at the end of the rehearsal session would be appropriate.
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
Get some lead time on if something does have to get canceled.
Boy, that's,
That's the thing, if Mark has a rehearsal scheduled for that night and he finds out this morning, the town hall's gone, it's like, well, where do we go?
well, the good thing is that most of our meetings require 48 notice anyhow, 48-hour notice anyhow, so it'd be hard pressed to, oh my gosh, something happens this morning, and I'm gonna need it tonight. You've been very fortunate, you have a great relationship with Ellen Moriarty, using the Rochford room as required.
Yeah,
So-
she doesn't like to have it used.
So I think if they take a couple trucks out of the fire station, there's a chance to have a rehearsal in there, Don, right?
Yeah.
And if the generator's running, even better, right? Yeah. So,
Is that something that, as the town looks to maybe move town offices to TWB, is that something that it could be open for us over there?
Well, sure, you got the,
or leave them the key for you.
they got a big stage over there.
Again, it's all about, I think Don made the point that it's not just, it's the upkeep part of it, and that's what we're waiving. Does there need to be a custodian here? You've been fortunate with the work at the senior center that, Becky comes over, Tina comes over, Rudy comes over, and that's good, and, I've done it in the past for different rehearsals, et cetera, over there, so.
So when's your next use needed?
Well, I'm gonna need Sunday afternoons, and according to Lauren, Sunday afternoons are very good, because nothing goes on Sunday afternoons. That would be starting January 19th. Yes, January 19th.
Musical, pro play,
It's for Jerry's Girls, which is our musical for the spring. And that's when the music director can come on Sunday afternoons. And sometimes he'll go to a double day of Tuesday, but that could be anywhere. It does not have, but I mean, the auditorium is where, I know Sunday afternoons have always been good for us because nothing's in here on a Sunday afternoon. So,
the only thing it might be is if Lauren and Brian have set the room up, you see how it is right now, and that's typically for meetings, et cetera. If they've got that held over from maybe a Thursday night or something like that, you might find, I think we would ask, and you would do it, of course, if you take the chairs out of the way, do your rehearsal, put them back where you find them. That's
In the
just,
condition that you found.
right,
yeah,
exactly.
Sundays would actually be for the music director, the music rehearsal, so he's gonna bring his little piano organ, so it isn't gonna be blocking or anything really, it's mostly just gonna be music, singing.
Well, then the chance of Don and I showing up is pretty high, I think, at that point, right, Don?
I think I know the words to that whole musical.
I never even heard of this guy. Jerry something, no idea.
Jerry's voice.
Jerry Herman, you never heard of Jerry Herman? Mame, Hello Dolly, Kaj, big shows. It's gonna be a good show.
Are you looking, so moving along, are you looking for specific dates now?
Every Sunday till we open, which would be right now from the 19th on till we open the 25th of April. And that week will be at the senior center. We're doing the show at the senior center.
Okay.
Excuse me, the last weekend of April, the first weekend of May. Those are already booked in with Becky, that's already done. And that week we will be in rehearsal there. But it would be Sunday afternoons here, starting the 19th.
And what times?
Usually 2 to 4.
Okay, the only thing I would say, like, the snow days, and typically, if you had a booking for that, we would, I guess, include you on our distribution text type thing. The town hall is closed,
Oh, yeah.
you know, because for instance, big snowstorm comes, Mark and his crew is gonna be out working on the streets. Because the town hall is not in use for municipal use, they're not gonna come here and do the parking lot. So therefore, we're gonna tell
No,
you,
that's totally-
don't come and use, okay,
The
right.
music director's coming from
The
Vermont,
music
so
comes
he's
from
not gonna
Vermont,
come
so he
in the
drives 2
snowstorm
hours each
anyway.
way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So what about the Tuesday thing?
Tuesday could be any room, anywhere. It doesn't have to be the auditorium, if something's booked, if the Melville's open or whatever, so.
Usually on Tuesday, one of the two is open, I would think, you know.
It usually is with our past rehearsals, the past few years, it's usually
Right.
the day, that's why we chose.
All right, Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to waive the rental fee for the production of, rehearsal productions of Jerry's Girls by the Hampden Theater Guild. Theater Guild of Hampden.
Is there a second? Oh, second.
And thereafter, John?
Well, I think Don said, let's see how this goes. I mean, it goes well, I don't see a reason why we're not doing it going forward.
Because we'll have another production.
Sure,
in the fall.
yeah,
Right.
Any discussion?
I think we beat it to death.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The only thing I would ask you is, would you just fill out the form, because I'm a stickler for forms. You know, just, Lauren will just mark that's waived, that's all, okay?
So we won't, I'll be in contact with you, Lauren, but we won't start till the 19th,
Tuesday's gonna be every week as well.
yes. And if that changes, I will let you know.
Yeah, the other thing
But I
is
know
talking
Sunday's
to
a definite, 'cause
Jane about the doors and making sure that's all
yeah,
set.
Jane's been
so,
good about
yeah.
those things, yeah, she really has
So
been.
cancel.
John, do you want me to do that now?
If you
Whenever you
want
get a
to, that'd be
chance.
great, yeah.
Yeah, I got it here.
I wrote it.
Yes. All right.
Need a pen?
No, I'm okay.
Okay, next item on the agenda.
If we could pass that till next week,
Are we
because Craig, I think,
Yeah.
would want to be involved with it.
fees then on,
What?
are we keeping the fees? That was the other thing you were talking about.
We waive the fees.
No, but for general
Yes.
policy, we're keeping the
Yeah,
fees that we have?
yes, yes.
We have a waiver option.
We have a waiver
in the
option,
application. Right.
All right,
okay. Town meeting discussion, just, we're gonna defer this to next week when the other select person is here.
Hey, I don't know if we got the information, can we get some input from the Board of registrars, like, how much time would they like on citizen petition stuff, you know? Because last time they have to certify the whole thing, they might have a recommendation.
Yeah, I just think this next town meeting, there's gonna be a lot going on. I know there's gonna be some citizen petition. I don't wanna be in the position that we were the last two times, where we're keeping the warrant open, then advisory can't get it, we can't post it, and,
Publish it and people know, and here you go.
all right,
I've seen it on other towns' websites.
yeah. All right, so we're gonna defer that. We have a number of licenses, entertainment licenses.
Have these all been, the entertainment ones have all been vetted by the police department,
yep,
including the Sunday?
yeah,
That requires a separate report back from the police.
there's a separate report, Craig, I mean, I did talk to Scott, he said there was no issues besides a couple complaints, a drunk patron at La Cucina, but then when they got there, the person was gone.
Like something in writing.
I have emails,
You got an email?
not with me, but yes, he did email me about them.
Okay. Good. We could include that in the minutes that we received email
Oh, yeah.
report from the, yeah.
Um,
So, Mr. Chairperson, I have requests for 3 entertainment licenses. These are all renewals for the next year, 2025, from current license holders. La Casabella would like an entertainment license Fridays and Saturdays, 4 o'clock to 10 o'clock for the next year. Similar, and Lauren, is that what they have now? Because we've moved some times in the past,
Yeah,
and I'd like to know,
I have to check it last year's, I mean, I just went by what they put on their applications, I already got all these applications back.
I want to know what last year's.
I don't think it's changed
Well,
last year, but I can check.
especially the patio stuff, you know?
yeah,
Mr. Chair, I'd like to pass this until we get last year's copy.
okay.
I mean, it's the end of the year needed, so,
So we need last year's,
yeah.
okay. Let's see how you do with used car dealers.
What kind of cars? Did you get yours?
I got my car totaled.
I know, is that a new one?
I got a new one, I got a new one, I got a new one.
Man, one every 20 years? You are, you're so good for the economy, it's incredible. All right, so we have a request for 12 used car dealer licenses. These are all current holders renewing for next year. They require information provided to typically Lauren and Jane, bonding, et cetera. We have Ferraro, Corby, Hampden Auto Body, DJ. Really? I thought he passed away. Okay. DJ's A to Z, Hampden Trading, Reen Auto Sports, Fox Motors, FC Auto Sales, Max Auto Sales, Safe Auto Sales, and Northeast Automotive. I would like to make a motion to approve all these, subject to all paperwork, bonds, et cetera, being in place and reviewed.
Second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
That's not a lot.
Lauren, this Commonwealth of Massachusetts Alcoholic Beverage Control Commission, we just have, this is just,
Yeah, it's just an
Saying in our
estimated
we don't have-
population. I have to give them with the liquor renewals,
okay,
which I got the number from Eva, I just gotta sign it.
yeah, that,
Only 3 more people, we would hit that 5,000.
we would have, yeah, higher.
No, that's the reason, you know, we had to get rid of our weights and measure guy.
Yeah. All right, we have any, what else we got here? We have seasonal population increase form. That's it.
How's that?
Yeah, pass that down to Lauren, please.
I have no report.
Select report. No, you have no report?
No.
Okay, the only thing I have to report is that the Hampden Wilbraham Regional School District Planning Committee met last Tuesday,
Yeah, nice snacks, by the way.
and they're moving forward with recommending amendments to the regional agreement. One of the things would be to have the region change from so that the K through 5, pre-K through 5 children would be educated, still be educated in Hampden, 6 to 12 become part of the region. However, the problem that they have right now is with the Wilbraham Middle School, whether they want to either sell it to the region or keep it as a town, and it makes a difference what happens with the capital planning, so that's where they are.
Oh.
So, it's for mines, for.
So if they sell it to the district, that would mean an incurrence of a debt for Hampden, because we pay
Correct.
18% of the district money, or whatever it is,
Right.
17, yeah.
Yeah, right. So, they have to go to town meeting, both town meetings for that, so we'll see how that goes. Town administrator report?
Yeah, a couple quick things. Sub bids for the water district expansion project are due Wednesday, the 4th. And those are for HVAC and electrical. And then the GC bids are due December 12th for the water district expansion project. So hopefully we can get that under contract shortly thereafter, so that way we'll meet the ARPA obligation deadline of December 31st. Last time the board, for the fire station generator project, the board awarded the contract to Saco Electric. I'm waiting back for the contract from them so that they can get started there. And the cable license agreement, the draft that the board voted on was sent to Charter, and Cable Council says it's about a 1 to 2 month turnaround before they expect anything back from Charter on that. So that's about it. There's a casino webinar tomorrow to learn more about the grant. So we'll have to make a decision on what to apply for. That's, again, that's $75,000. $75,000 block grant. That's about it.
Anybody else have anything to bring before the committee? The board? No?
Were you expecting something?
No, we just wanted to check it out.
Oh, good, great.
Thanks for coming in, thanks.
You know, we usually have cookies, we didn't bring any. One other item, the board will be meeting on this Thursday, 10 to 12, with the some advisory committee members, senior center building committee, treasurer, accountant, and others, to talk about the municipal buildings and the capital expenditures for the municipal buildings, and try to come up with some type of plan.
Is that here?
Here, yeah, 10 to 12 on Thursday, yeah. Anything else to come before the board?
Might be cookies then. I move to adjourn. I move to
Second.
adjourn the select board.
Second, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. I'll sign these.